going on, everybody? You are now tuned in to another episode of No Cap Allowed. I am your host, Mello, and on this show, we don't do any teaching, any preaching. We just want to give you game on how to get ahead in life, no matter where you are in life. Without further ado, let me introduce my very first guest on the very first episode of No Cap Allowed. I'm so excited, guys. I'm so excited. Now, listen, I took a minute to do my homework. Okay, I took a minute to do my homework. So let me give this fire introduction right here. Former MMA fighter, entrepreneur, first form legionnaire, car product specialist, car enthusiast, entrepreneur, photographer, finance director for a top 20 automotive group, one of my best friends and mentors. Without further ado, Mr. Bradley Yarbro. What's up, man?
What's up, bro?
You like that?
I like that.
You like that?
I like
that was cool, right?
You had to gas me up a little bit.
Gas you up. I had
None
to,
of us
bro.
coming.
I had to, man. I had to. So, Brad, how are you today, man?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm good. It was a cold ride in, but
You rode the bike?
I rode the bike.
What kind of bike do you have?
I have a Harley Davidson.
Harley Davidson. Nice. What made you get that bike?
So, I always rode crotch rockets.
Right.
Lindsay hated them, my wife.
Okay.
So basically, she had a boyfriend back in the day.
Right.
She rode on one motorcycle. He drove way too fast, terrified her, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
The rest of the story. So when I was getting ready to buy a new bike, she was like, I don't want anything I have to lay down on. If you're going to get one, I want to be able to ride it. And I was like, cool, cruiser, let's do it.
Yeah.
And so call the Harley dealership, and I'm like, this is where I'm coming from. This is where I'm going.
Right.
Like, I need an in-between to start on, and then we'll buy a big Harley,
Okay.
which coming soon to be continued. So yeah, that's pretty much how we ended up with that bike.
Nice.
It's cool for around town. Nothing top speeds though. Like
Gotcha.
it's not a fun bike
Is
to ride high speeds.
is that the first bike you've ever had, or?
No. So I had a Yamaha FC6R.
Okay.
And then I think it was a 2011 or 12, and then I had a 2015 Honda CBR.
Okay.
And so again, crotch rockets, nothing crazy. The FC6R was a 600, so it would do 120, 130 real easy.
Nice.
The Honda, not so much.
Right. So speaking of Honda,
Oh, here we go.
what do you think about automatic motorcycles?
Oh, bro. So when you told me about your bike, like I had to Google it because I didn't believe you. I didn't know that was a
Bro,
thing.
you made fun of me for getting an automatic motor. I don't care what anybody says. They are the coolest things. I don't have to worry about shifting gears, none of that, man.
You said if I buy a motorcycle, you're gonna buy another one. I said absolutely, and you show up with a bike one that's like 6'2" that I couldn't sit on if my life depended on it.
But hey, it's fun to ride.
I bet it is. I'm sure it's great in stop and go traffic.
It is. It is actually.
So speaking of stop and go traffic, I was talking to somebody the other day, and we were talking about driving stick shifts. One of the mechanics in the back, and and it dawned on me because always when I'm in the gym, like I'm looking and I realize my left quad is bigger and more defined than my right quad. I've never been able to figure out why. I drove a stick shift for 15 years.
Right.
The clutch.
Yeah.
That leg, and when it hit me, I was like, you're so stupid.
Yeah.
It's like a noticeable difference
That's crazy.
in like my quads because of that.
That's wild, bro. So, Brad, the show is called No Cap Allowed, man. And, what we like to do on here, we just like to speak straight from the heart. We don't care about opinions. We don't care about what the masses think, things like that. So we're going to get into that a little bit. But before we do that, I want to ask you a few questions real quick.
Okay.
Right? So, you, in my opinion, are a very successful individual. At what point in your life did you realize and understand what success looks and felt like?
Ooh, that's a good question. Because in my eyes, I'm far from successful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm basically at the beginning stages of where I want to be.
Okay.
Which I guess if you look back 5 years ago, I probably would have had the same answer.
Yeah.
A lot of people define success by money. They define it by the size of your office, the size of your house. All these things are great,
Right.
but it's to me it's more of the impact you leave on others. And a lot of people think that I'm hard on them because I push them.
Right.
But as you've known working with me for a long time, is I only push the people I care about.
100%.
The other people
100%.
just kind of get swept under the rug.
Right.
So in my opinion, even if it's a bad thing that they think about when they think about how I led, they still thought about it. Whereas other people that have been in leadership roles in their life in the past, they never bring them up.
Yeah.
So to me, if I can leave some type of mark on you, even if you didn't like the way I left it, as long as it benefited you in your future, in your career,
Right.
then I'm okay with you thinking of however you think about me.
Yeah. I think that's very interesting because, like you stated, a lot of people don't understand what you're actually trying to teach them, and it's not that they don't understand what you're trying to teach them. It's they don't receive the way that you try to teach them,
Right.
And you purposefully do it on purpose because you want to let them know that life is a bitch sometimes.
It is.
And
It is.
what I love about you is that you again, no cap allowed. You take the cap off of everything. You know what I'm saying? You don't babysit. You don't. You're one of those people where it's like where they say the strong, only the strong survive or something like that.
Yeah.
You have that mentality, and I think that's what makes you so awesome because you do care. I think you understand what I'm saying. I might be saying it wrong.
No, I get what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You care about hurting somebody's feelings, but you don't.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing is, I don't care if I hurt your feelings if I'm telling you the truth.
Right.
I will never purposely hurt someone's feelings.
Right.
Out of being a dick to somebody.
Right.
Like I just can't do that. Like I've never been able to do it to a female. I've never been able to do it to another, just a friend, a coworker, anything. But if what I say hurts your feelings, that means it's true.
Yeah.
And that's not me hurting your feelings. It's the truth within you that you know that is hurting your feelings. So when I call you fucking lazy, and it upsets you, that means you're lazy.
Right. Because you're gonna leave thinking
if
like
somebody
like,
called
damn,
me
I am.
lazy, I would tear the roof off the building, proving to you that I wasn't lazy.
Right.
See the difference?
Absolutely.
So no, I don't care if it hurts your feelings as long as I'm not being malicious. I guess is the best way to put that.
Absolutely. So, we talk about success and when you've realized that and you're still on your path of success. Let me ask you a question, right? So we just kind of touched on this before the episode. You have a disorder known as Tourette's. How has that impacted your life?
That's a big old can of worms. So in my early years, I thought it was impacting me negatively. I got picked on. I got bullied. I've told you the story. Walking back from class. One of my tics used to be like this laugh giggle thing.
Yeah.
And a group of guys thought I was making fun of them, laughing at them. As soon as we got back from lunch, sat down at my desk, 4 guys jumped on me and beat the crap out of me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought that would be something that continued the rest of my life. This is going to lead into a whole other topic, but basically, I believe that most people try to find the good in things, and they try to find the sunshine so they can rush to it type thing.
100%.
So that's where their motivation comes from.
Right.
Is being good, being better, blah blah blah.
Right.
I'm the complete opposite.
Yeah.
I go to the darkest place I can possibly go.
Yeah.
That's where I find my success. Is when I was detailing cars, all I could think about was these stupid people that picked on me and bullied me, told me I couldn't do this, told me I couldn't do that. And anytime something got hard or I was up against a struggle, that's what came to mind. It wasn't, well, if you just get over this hurdle, things will be better. No, it's fuck those people.
Yeah.
I'm about to show you how fucking wrong you were.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, that's where it leads me. So in the big picture, having Tourette's has been the greatest thing that's ever happened to me.
Wow.
If you lived my childhood, you may have a few different opinions on that as you're coming up, because dealing with it, it sucked. But at the same time, like when I look back, I mean, how many friends have I made and how many lives have I touched because of my syndrome, because of me taking the time to explain it and showing people how I overcame it without medication. I've never taken medication for Tourette's.
Wow. So you've never taken medication?
Never once. I took
awesome,
it. I took it one time. It was when I first got diagnosed when I was 12, and I had chronic asthmatic, and it counteracted my asthma medicine. So it kind of had to make a choice whether want to breathe or want to twitch around and make a bunch of noises and stuff.
Right.
So obviously I chose to breathe.
Right.
Now I'm sure they've got all kinds of medication stuff out there, but medications are the same thing as like going to a therapist.
Yeah.
If you just medicate it and don't fix the problem,
Yeah.
it goes away, but it comes back.
Right.
It's just what drives me crazy is the big fad right now is girls taking the weight loss shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna work until you stop taking it.
Exactly.
Because you didn't develop any lifestyle habits, anything to move forward with. It's the same thing with mental health, the same thing with my Tourette's, because it's a stress-caused syndrome.
Yeah.
So, for instance, if I get upset, I get really upset. If I get happy, I get really happy. There's no in between because it's all a mental thing.
Got you.
So if you learn to control your mental state, then it helps you control what happens to you.
Yeah. And you talk about your childhood and having to deal with different things. I did a little bit of homework, right?
Okay.
So you made a post on Facebook back in 2015 about learning how to walk as a child.
Yeah.
Your family found out your shins were growing crooked and decided not to put you through surgery. My question is has your family always had that tremendous amount of faith, love, and support for you?
Absolutely. So cool thing about those is I gotta get my dad to find them because they're still at the house. So it's these two white shoes and they've got this metal bar that runs. It's bolted to the bottom of the shoes to basically make me learn to walk.
Yeah,
he still has them. So I'll get him to find them.
Bro,
and
that'd be
I'll
awesome.
bring them to work and show
That's
you.
cool.
No, so basically when I got diagnosed with Tourette's, obviously they were strong through that. They made the decision with me growing up as a chronic asthmatic. They've always been fantastic.
Yeah.
So when it come to me getting diagnosed with Tourette's, they basically were like, whatever you want to do, you're going to do it. And I didn't know what that meant at the time, but it basically they meant was whatever you want to do, regardless who tells you can't, we're telling you can.
Right.
Obviously, they're not the be-all, say-all, so it's not like they were just magically going to give it to me.
Right.
It was the point of we're not going to coddle you and let you just cower down because maybe you have a problem.
Yeah. And do you think that's kind of where some of you develop some of your personality?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it goes back to we've had so many coworkers that like it's easy when you're on the outside to see somebody's potential.
Right.
Because like people tell me all the time, you got this, and that. And I'm like, no, I don't. I'm working on it, but I don't have it.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with some of the younger guys when they're coming in to try to learn how to sell something is they get told no once and they've been coddled their whole life. So now when they hear no once, that's that. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
Us growing up, we didn't have the internet and technology and stuff. So when we got told no, we try to find a way around to get our yes.
Yeah. 100%.
My favorite was, I don't care whatever your mama says. Daddy said it's whatever you say. Well, I don't care whatever he says. So I go back and make my own decision because y'all say whatever each other say and ain't nobody saying anything.
Exactly.
So like
Exactly.
we kind of had it different than.
How hard is it to you mentioned the new guys coming in not being coddled. How hard is it to change their mindset? How hard is it to show these guys like, listen, you know, you're really spoiled because we had it hard. We had to figure it out. We had to be grinders, hustlers, things like that. How hard is it trying to implement that into somebody else's mentality?
So, in my opinion, they're as bad as you always hear the you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah.
You've got those salesmen that are stuck in their way.
Right.
Well, it's the same mentality. It's just one doesn't know and one thinks they know everything.
Exactly.
And then when you mix the two, you get the one that thinks he knows everything telling the one that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now they're just as bad as the other ones.
Right.
And it's a tough mentality to let go of because you got to think nobody wants to be told they're bad. Nobody wants to be told they can't do something because of their lack of skill.
Right.
You know what I mean? If I didn't have any legs, I couldn't run a race.
Yeah.
But you telling me I can't go run a race right now, in their eyes, they'd be like, "Oh, well, he said I couldn't do it, so I guess I can't do it."
Yeah. That's kind of sad though.
It is, but
I can't fathom that mentality.
No,
you know what I mean? If you told me I couldn't run a race just because I didn't have legs, I'm like, well, give me my wheelchair.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I would be in a boat rowing.
You know what I mean? Like I'm figuring out a way. You know.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know if you saw this. I made a post not too long ago, and it wasn't body shaming. It was basically I think I showed it to you. It basically said I was sitting at Target watching these sloppy fat people get out of their cars. This wasn't saying just fat people in general or overweight people in general because I don't want to offend anybody because you didn't take the time to take care of your body. That's neither here nor there. What I was getting at was it's Saturday afternoon, 2:00 in the afternoon. You're in booty short pajamas with a shirt 2 sizes too small for you going into public.
Right.
That's trashy.
Yeah.
That's what I was getting at, and a whole bunch of people got upset over it. Well, my point of the post is we have to have standards.
Yeah.
And going back to these new salespeople coming in with that mentality is they don't have the standard of this is what I'm gonna do.
Right.
This is what I have to do.
Right.
Well, this is all I got. So that's where they stop.
Yeah.
Like how many times do you see people get halfway through the month and they're doing bad and they go, well, I guess this month's over.
Yeah. All the time.
Well, it's because they don't have that killer mentality.
Yeah.
How many times have you walked into the last day of the month and sold 3 cars and hit your bonuses?
Too many times.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I can't understand how you can limit yourself.
Right.
I fully understand you trying to limit me.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
people are always going to hold you down.
Right.
But why the fuck are you holding yourself down?
Right.
I can't understand that.
Yeah.
And that's the mentality that a lot of them have, because that's just the way they've been raised.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So speaking of that, let's talk about some quick topics real quick.
Okay.
And this kind of is a segue into what we just talked about. So why do you believe the average person is an average person?
Oh,
you like that?
I
I
do.
got some good questions, don't I?
I do like that.
Come on now.
I do like that. How do I want to put this?
No cap allowed. None. Take it off.
So, I'm gonna blame the government society a little bit.
Okay.
Who do you know that's extraordinary? Personally,
Extraordinary?
yeah, somebody that's just out of the box. Like, holy cow, how did he do that?
Like extraordinary or extraordinary?
Either one.
Because I'm thinking extraordinary.
Well, to be extraordinary, you got to be extraordinary, because you're not the same. Because to be great, you have to be different.
All right, so you asked me who's a great person or who's a normal person?
No, who's a great person that you know.
Oh, okay, got you. I'm sorry.
Personally, not somebody famous, because obviously that doesn't play into average.
The first person that comes into my mind, just as an example, is Chase.
Chase, perfect.
Okay.
So that's one person out of how many people do you think you know? 1,000, 2,000? How many Facebook friends you got? 1,500?
Something like that.
5,000? Something like that?
Yeah, I don't know.
So if 1 in 5,000 people are doing something great, and then the rest of the people just think it's normal to not be anything other than average.
Got you.
It's not that they don't want to be more than average. It's a few things. 1, they don't know how. 2, they don't think they can do it, because we go back to that self-belief thing.
Right.
Is if you don't think you can do something, it doesn't matter who thinks you can. If you don't think you can't, you're never going to.
Right.
Perfect example, you ride motorcycles. Do you know how to make a turn, a 360 turn?
On a motorcycle?
Yeah. You have to.
I was gonna say, yeah,
you have to believe that you're going to do it, because you can't look forward. You have to look behind you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to look behind you the
Absolutely.
entire time. And if you don't believe that you can do that, where are you going to be at? On the ground.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So the reason people are so comfortable being average is because they don't see everybody around them is average. The average person, doesn't know anybody doing anything crazy. Like, the first time you heard somebody making 100,000, you probably were.
Oh, bro, what?
Yeah.
And then how do I get that?
And then the first time I introduced you to somebody making 500,000.
Right.
And then the first time I told you about a guy that makes over $1 million a year.
Right.
Doing the same thing you do.
Yeah.
Doing the same thing you used to do.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's people can't fathom it until they see it in front of them. Like, for instance, if I said it's impossible to throw a ball to that house over there,
Right.
you would just believe me.
Yeah.
Now, if you saw somebody throw a ball to that house over there, you would then assume, hey, I can probably do that too, because it can be done.
Exactly.
I can't remember the guy's name, but the sub 5-minute mile was thought to be impossible. As soon as he did it, his record was broke 3 different times within the next day.
Wow.
Because people never try to do it, because it was a known fact that it was impossible to run a sub 5-minute mile.
Yeah.
Look, you'll have to look him up. It's an interesting story about the guy.
Yeah.
But like I said, once he broke it, boom, 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 broken.
Yeah. So my next question for you is there's the old saying, when 2 people meet, a sale is made. When is a time that you can think of where you were sold on something or an idea, and a time you sold someone on an idea?
I'm going to go back to the stupid TV that's hanging in my living room. So, Chase, obviously, we just mentioned him, our boss. Years ago, he bought a curved TV.
Okay.
And that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen. Why would you do that? And he was like, no, bro, it's great. Doesn't matter where you're sitting in the living room, you can see it. So I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. Yeah. And so fast forward to 2020, we were still building our house. And Lindsay's dad needed a new TV. And I was like, cool, let's go to Walmart. I hope you pick out a TV. Yeah. So we get there, and this guy's like, we got this, and that. I'm like, no, he wants the 70-inch curve. Yeah. Because that's what Chase had. And I wasn't buying it, so who cares? And so he brings it out. I'm looking at it, and I'm like, man, it's good. Too bad you didn't have another one. Just joking. Yeah. I don't have a TV. I don't need a TV. We're in the process of building our house. Right. We don't live anywhere right now because our house is still being built. Right. And So he's like, "Oh yeah, that sucks." And then her dad asked about something else, and next thing I know, they're walking out with another 70-inch curved TV, and I'm
Bro,
like,
no way.
I look at Lindsay, and she's like, "Well, I'd hate for him to have to put it back up."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Me too. It's $1,000.
Right.
Put it back up." She's like, "Oh." And I'm like,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
just his
hilarious.
influence on this TV not only made me buy one, but made me make somebody else buy one.
Wow. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. It was that thing of, well, somebody, in a sense I look up to is doing it. It works for him, so maybe I should do it too. Is that kind of what that was?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And that's kind of how it is, because I can't ever remember walking in, because unless you're going to a car dealership, you're not going to walk into many places you're going to find a legitimate salesperson.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So to be sold, it has to come from a place of influence at that point. But even when you're selling cars, that's how you sell a car, is being the place of influence.
Right.
People that think they can sell cars but don't want to learn their product, where's your influence?
Right.
It's like a lot of social media people. They think they're influencers, but when you look at their resume, you realize that they're just somebody talking on the internet. They're not actually doing anything with their lives to influence.
Yeah.
And then I guess the time that I influenced somebody else would be that time you decided you were going to go work for Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I was going to go work for Chick-fil-A. I sure was. I was.
We worked so hard to get you where you were, and you're like,
did.
bro, I'm going to Chick-fil-A.
That's right. Man, their service, I just can't help it. I just love the service, man. No, it's funny you mentioned that, man. That's you know what? I love that you brought that up, because that's something that not a whole lot of people know about me. I've been working at the dealership now for 6 years, going on 7.
Yep.
Which is crazy when I think about that, because the average person, we look at applications all day. They've been at their job 2 months.
If that,
Yeah, literally,
half
right?
the time, yeah.
But anyway, so it's crazy because, you talk about influence and things of that nature. I had gotten to a point to where I felt like I had reached the cusp of what I could possibly do at this dealership. Changing oil, selling cars. I just thought that, that was it. You look at management at a lot of jobs, not just where we work at, but you look at it, and you say, man, I'll never be there. That person will never leave, right?
Right.
And you never have that thought in your mind of the possibility of, well, what if they do leave? Mm-hmm. You never think about that. And so I thought, I had reached the cusp. I've accomplished what I thought was all that I could accomplish.
Right.
So there's nothing else for me to do here. And I'm one of those people that, I don't like feeling complacent. You know what I mean?
That.
And when I feel like I'm just showing up to work, I feel like I'm no good to anybody around me. I'm not doing anybody any good.
No, and that makes sense, because, again, going back to average, the average person just shows up to work.
Right.
He has no purpose.
Yeah. And that's crazy, because that I felt like I was average. That's why I needed to leave, because I wasn't good enough to be in that place.
That self-belief.
That's self-belief, right? So I've personally experienced that too. So it's cool that you brought that up now that I think about it. And again, the influence was, hey, no, Jamel, you are great. Let's find the next step for you. Let's turn that page.
Yeah.
And had I not had you or Chase to really sit me down, put the straps around me and be like, no, bro, listen, you're not going nowhere, bro. Like, Chick-fil-A, stop. You know what I mean? So I just think it's cool, man, that you just made me realize that even I had those issues too of self-belief, even though I consider myself to be a confident person.
Yeah.
I think we all go through those modes and those steps. So that's a time where you guys sold me.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's pretty cool, man. So Brad, you made me a shirt that, you made this shirt too.
I was going to say, I
You
made that
this
shirt.
one, you made a shirt, Facts Over Feelings.
Yeah.
And I love that saying. I love that quote. Is that something you came up with?
No, it was kind of surfacing around the internet back in 2020 a little bit. One of the podcasts I listened to, it wasn't really like their motto or anything, but they always mentioned that nobody cares about your feelings when it comes to the facts.
Got you.
So it wasn't really a facts over feelings thing. I kind of took what I'd heard, and I just, and obviously we work with numbers every day, and I was really good at math, so making a division problem that said facts with a division sign over feelings.
What does that mean to you, facts over feelings?
Basically means that no matter how you feel about something, that doesn't mean you're right.
Okay.
one of my favorite sayings is there's three sides to a story. There's your side, there's my side, and there's the truth. Either one of us have the option to say the truth, but typically, most of the time, your feelings get in the way of that. And that happens in a lot of aspects of life. A lot of relationships go down the drain because instead of dealing with the facts and dealing with each other, they let their feelings and emotions take over. So, for instance, if we're in a relationship and I'm like, "Yo, listen, this is upsetting me the way you do this," and you don't like that because you enjoy doing that, and then you get upset, that is causing a hindrance to your relationship. When in reality, the fact is you're upsetting her.
Yeah.
You're supposed to care about her.
Right.
Nobody gives a fuck if you have to stop leaving your shoes at the back door or whatever whatever it was.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's the same way when we talk about these young salespeople and even me when I have to be, set down and it's like, yo, I know you're upset about this, but this is what it is. This is why it is. Let's do this thing.
Yeah.
And being able to accept that is a big thing that's going to lead to your success. Because again, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Just it is what it is. If it upsets you,
Yeah.
take that shit outside.
Right.
Put it down.
Yeah.
Come back inside and do what's got to be done. So to me, I guess that's where my I care about you, but I don't give a fuck if I hurt your feelings.
Right.
Motto comes from
Right.
is simply because of that. If it's true, it's true. If it's not, then I'll apologize.
Yeah.
I mean, you've heard me do it.
Absolutely. 100%. 100%. One more question before we play a game that I'm excited to play.
Playing games.
You're playing games, man. So Nick Cannon.
Oh God!
Right.
Here we go.
Nick Cannon. I love Nick Cannon, man.
I mean, me too. That was all 12 of his kids.
Right. Nick Cannon said, "Money doesn't make you happy. Happy makes you money." Do you agree?
Listen, there is very, very few problems that money can't fix. The only problem it cannot fix is the one within inside you. So, no, I don't agree with him.
Okay.
Money, in fact, does buy happiness. You ever seen a sad motherfucker in a Lamborghini?
Oh, bro, no, never.
Never. You ever seen a guy that owns a Lamborghini sad at his house, though, alone?
Well, yeah, you have.
You see what I'm saying?
Right,
So
right,
it's
right.
it's money can create happiness,
you.
but
I got you.
the issues you have within this goes back to medication versus taking care of your actual mental health. Is it doesn't matter how much money you have if you can't fix what's inside you. It doesn't matter how broke you are if you can't fix what's inside you. Because I know a lot of people living off welfare that are happy.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's because they have fixed what's within themselves to be able to be happy. Do they want more out of life? I'm sure.
Yeah.
But they also want to have inner peace.
Yeah.
And I fully get that.
Yeah.
With that being said, saw a Instagram post the other day that said it wasn't not reflection. Basically, he was saying that he'd rather leave mold people than make money. And in a sense, I understand that. But Andy Frisella, I've talked to you about him before. He once said that in order to first be selfless, you first have to be selfish.
Yeah.
Reason being, he goes, you can be selfless all you want.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can do. If I'm selfish for a long time and make an ungodly amount of money, when I decide to be selfless, who's going to leave more of an impact?
Exactly. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
100%.
You can show up for the kids' ball game. I can buy them a new stadium.
Right.
Which one's truly going to make the kids' future better?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, 100%. And that's one of those facts over feelings things as well, because the fact is we want to provide and we want to feel appreciated. We want to be the superhero.
Yeah.
But the feeling aspect of it is okay, well, my son has a football game today. If I don't show up, he's going to hate me. When the fact is if I don't make the money that I need to provide for my family, instead of just showing up for the football game and him feeling good, I could end up being able to buy the whole team new jerseys, being a sponsor, being whatever. And I think that's one of those average people mindsets.
Correct.
Because, again, and I'm not saying don't show up to your kids' game. I'm not saying that.
Absolutely not. Do everything you can for your kids.
100%.
You know what I mean?
But the fact is if I'm in a position to where the coach says, hey, we need a sponsor. I would much rather be able to sponsor some shit versus just being the parent that shows up if I can afford to do so.
100%.
So I hear what you're saying, and I think a lot of people don't think about it that way.
No, they don't. But it also goes back to you think I can show up for my kid every time.
Right.
Or I can provide this beautiful house that you have your kids living in right now.
Right. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, I showed up for every single game.
Right.
Where do we live? When they're not on the field, do they have clothes?
Right.
Do they have food?
Right.
Do they have the latest technology so they don't get picked on at school?
Right.
Type things.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying you should give your kids things because you don't want them to get picked on, but I mean that's part of life now.
Right.
It is a thing. If you don't have what other kids have, I mean, we both grew up that way.
Yeah.
You
yeah,
you get picked on.
100%.
So,
I went to school with my Shaqs on, man.
Don't play with me.
Don't
We've
play
talked
with
about
me,
this.
good
I'm the only other person that owned the Shaqs.
Bro, those were hard. I don't care what nobody says,
the white
bro.
with the blue?
Yes, bro. I had some with the army green around the toe, and bro, they looked like Air Forces. Nobody knew. Oh, bro, I was like, yeah, you ain't got these.
No, they definitely knew that I had on Shaqs.
Oh, man, that's funny. So, all right, so let's play a game, Brad. The name of the game is called Fact or Cap.
Oh, Lord.
Fact or Cap. I'm gonna make a statement.
Okay.
And you say fact or cap.
Okay, I can do this. So I just have to know if it's true about me.
Right.
Okay.
And it's subjective, so you can however you want to take it. All right. So here we go. My first one. I'm excited for this one here. I already know where you're going with it. All right, here we go. Former President Barack Obama was a better president than Donald Trump.
Cap. He was a puppet.
Oh my God.
He was a puppet.
Why is that cap?
Because he was a puppet. That's what I'm saying. In my opinion, he did a lot of great things.
Okay.
I've said this before, and I'll die on this hill. And you guys aren't going to like the two names that I'm going to put together, but Barack Obama and Adolf Hitler were two of the greatest public speakers and leaders this world has ever seen.
That's a bold statement.
That is a bold statement. Name one other person that has taken an entire country and convinced them to kill people for no reason. It wasn't he tricked them.
Right.
He convinced them that it was a good idea. Not saying he was a good leader in a sense of good heart, but
we don't support that.
You know what I'm saying? We don't support it, but at the same time, you can't look at him and not go, holy cow.
Right.
That guy had influence.
Right.
Barack Obama was the same way because he was so articulate.
Yeah.
He's one of the greatest speakers of all times. Yeah. But at the same time, what did he really accomplish?
Right. A lot of people say that he inherited the former president's BS, and so he didn't have the opportunity.
That inherited.
Exactly.
When do we stop blaming people in the past and start taking responsibility for now? Yeah. Did Donald Trump fix the country? Absolutely not. In no form or fashion.
I made more money when he was in office, though.
So that's what I'm getting at. He did, though, make sure that the people of the country were taken care of to the best of his ability. Because, again, people don't realize this. Presidents don't just get to make decisions.
Right.
There's like a whole ass thing you have to go through.
Right.
He can veto decisions, so he can basically go, no, that's a bad idea. I'm not doing it. But, for instance, like right now, President Corn Pop is trying to, relieve the student loan debt.
Yeah. Right.
How many times has it been shut down? Because he can't just do it.
Right.
You can make an executive order, but he doesn't care about the American people enough to make that an executive order.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. 100%.
But no, I feel like a lot of people are corrupt. I don't feel like there is a great candidate at all. Obviously, if it came down to voting for Donald Trump or basically anybody on the left at this point, then yeah, absolutely, all day long.
Yeah.
Is he the answer and the fix to our problems? No.
Yeah.
Never will be. Never was going to be.
Yeah.
But what he was an incredible businessman that fixed the money portion for the American people. Obviously, we're still in debt beyond numbers that are countable.
Right.
You know what I mean? We talked about this the other day. When you think about how much, if you put 1,000 people in this room, if you put 100,000 people in this room, we just get bigger and bigger. You know how many You know how many people a billion is?
Yeah.
We're like 27 trillion in debt.
That's wild. That's unfathomable. Bro.
You see what I'm saying? What did Chase say? You could go to the moon and back 196
Something
times?
like that. Yeah, I was like, what?
Like,
bro, what?
Yeah.
That's insane.
So
man.
that goes back to none of it's real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the country's divided over lies they tell you and money that has zero value.
Right.
Because if it had value, we wouldn't be $27 trillion in debt or
Right.
whatever trillion it is.
Yeah.
So that's just my opinion.
So big cap.
Yeah.
Big cap.
Yeah. I can't remember when there was a good president though. So don't get mad at me just because I don't like I don't like his policies. Because again, I didn't really like Donald Trump's policies either. I just like how much money went in my bank account.
Yeah, right. No, I understand. That. Is it better to be politically correct than brutally? It's better to be politically correct than brutally honest.
No, that's cap because that goes against my whole facts over feeling thing.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
To be politically correct, I basically have to walk around on eggshells.
Right.
I'm not doing that shit.
Right.
For anybody.
Yeah. Got you. Is there ever a time where it's okay to be politically correct?
In a business professional setting. So, for instance, customer comes into my office. Regardless which side of the table they're on,
right?
I just nod my head and continue moving the conversation forward. I don't put my political views out,
right,
in a work setting,
right,
because that's not what I'm there for.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm there to do a job. They don't pay me to be a political major, which I'm not. So it's a good thing they don't pay me for that.
Right. Would you say? I keep wanting to ask these questions. It's a statement. Here we go. Broken content over rich and restless.
No, it's cap. Broken content.
Everything is cap with you, man. What's a fact?
The fact is, if you're gonna be fucking lazy,
right,
there's nothing to be content about.
Yeah. So rich and restless is what.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You're never gonna meet a rich guy that isn't tired.
Yeah.
But you are going to meet a rich guy that's tired that still doesn't give a fuck and is going to get up and do the work.
Right. I feel that.
It's again, it goes back to the mentality, bro. People think that, well, I'm not hurting for anything. That's not true. The average American is $400 away, an oopsie bill of $400 away from filing bankruptcy.
Damn.
The average bank account has around $6,000 in it in America. And you have to take in consideration the amount of millionaires and billionaires that go into that figure. The actual number is less than $1,000 in the average American's bank account.
Wow, are you serious? Bro. What?
Yeah,
that's insane. That's insane, bro. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's insane.
But that goes back to so many people saying they're content. They're not content. They just don't want to admit that they're in a fucked up situation and they don't know how to get out of it.
Yeah, that's true. Next question. That one blew my mind.
Next statement.
Next statement. The glass is half full, not half empty.
Doesn't matter which way you look at it. The glass has fucking water in it. Drink it.
So is that fact or cap?
They're both cap. They're both cap. Or they're both facts. Either way you want to look at it.
I love it. Yeah.
But for instance, I got this bottle of water right here.
Right.
If I'm in the desert dying,
right,
because I haven't had water in 3 days, am I looking at this motherfucker going, oh, it's only half full, or damn, it's half empty? No, I'm going, holy shit, there's water.
Yeah.
I can survive to move forward.
Right.
So that's I've always felt that way about that question or that statement.
Yeah.
Is you have there's water.
Yeah. That's
what you were looking for, right?
Right, 100%.
So who cares? Is it half empty or half full? It's there.
Yeah.
Take it, use it, move forward.
That's interesting. I agree with that 1,000%. I think I've always looked at it as if it's half full, that means that I have the potential to maximize the rest of the bottle.
Yeah.
If I said it's half empty, I look at it as my life as it stands right now. I've already accomplished everything I'm going to, and this is what's left of the rest of my 30, 40 years of life.
Yeah.
And I don't like to look at it that way.
Correct.
I like to look at it as it's half full, as though I've accomplished this much, and I got more to go. But you're right. There's water in the bottle no matter. There's going to be ups and downs. So sometimes it'll be 3/4 full. Sometimes it'll be 3/4 empty, so I think that's
the point is it's not empty.
Exactly.
There's still something because I look at it as the water isn't It's more metaphorical if it's the dog in you, or you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's the drive, it's the fight that you have left in you. So if there's still water in the glass, it
Right.
doesn't matter if it's half full or half empty. It just matters that you still have it to go.
Yeah. That's very interesting, man. Loyalty over respect.
Oh,
Oh, I got him.
I'm gonna say that's facts.
That's fact. Oh, ho. We got one. We got one. So loyalty over respect is a fact.
Well, yeah, because I respect people that have loyalty.
Okay.
And so if you're loyal to me, I don't give a fuck if that guy respects you,
Yeah.
because there's a reason you're loyal to me.
Right.
It's because I have something more to offer than he does,
Got you.
which means you're taken care of. We don't care what he thinks. And again, I don't care if he respects me or not, because you can look at my track record
Yeah.
and you don't get a choice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so absolutely.
Yeah. Finance over pay cash.
Man, if you want to live an average sad life, pay cash.
Explain that one.
So name a millionaire that owns everything he has.
None of them.
None of them.
Yeah.
What do?
They finance
They
or they lease.
They leverage debt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're working, $30,000 a year job,
Right.
and you can't feed your kids,
Right.
yeah, go find you a cheap car to pay cash for,
Yeah.
so that you can get them back and forth to school.
Right.
I'm not talking about cars. Cars are a depreciating asset. Don't spend your money on cars expecting to make a return out of it.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
But like houses and stuff,
Yeah.
always, because you basically, a few cool things. I know you didn't want to talk about finance, but
No, we're good. We're good.
But so, for instance, we built our house. 2020, we got to close in March of 21. We've been in there for 2 years, so I have a few options I can do now. One, I can rent my house out.
Yeah.
I can go buy another house and rent my house out, because I've lived there 2 years. I have a mortgage on it, but because I've lived there 2 years, I can now rent it out.
Yeah.
We're in the state of Tennessee. I don't know the rules for everywhere, so we're in Tennessee.
Right.
Another option I have is my house appraises for 2.5 times what I paid for it.
Right.
So if I wanted to, I could go take out a home equity loan.
Yeah.
80% of my equity, I could take it out. They'll give it to me in cash.
Whew.
I can then go buy another house,
Right.
start renting it out,
Yeah.
and then refinance that house once I have a tenant in there using their projected rent money.
Yeah.
Pay my home equity loan back,
Yeah.
and turn around and do it again.
Yeah.
And then turn around and do it again. You do that enough times,
Right.
5 years from now, you've got, say, 15 properties that are self-sufficient, paying for themselves.
Right.
You're pulling in 15 grand a month. Why do you need to go to work?
Yeah.
Now you can go focus on something else you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
man.
debt's not a bad thing. Debt done wrong is a horrible thing.
Yeah.
Credit card debt it's the killer of all Americans.
Monster, man. It's a monster. Yeah.
Because I mean, what people don't realize is every month when they charge that interest charge on your credit cards, it's on the full balance.
Right.
It's not like on a car loan where it's a simple interest loan where you have a daily per diem where,
Right.
each day you don't pay it, it goes up $4 here or $2 here depending on your rate.
Right.
You think about it is you're on a $30,000 vehicle. If it's $3 a day, there's 30 days, that's $90 in interest gets charged on a $30,000 vehicle.
Right.
If you have a
Right.
$2,000 credit card at 27% interest,
Right.
that's $100 in interest every month. The minimum payment's only $50.
Yep.
So what is that telling you? Every month you make a $50 payment, you go $50 more in debt.
Exactly.
So
That's
yeah,
wild. Yeah.
I guess that's a mixed question. Is 100% would pay cash for a depreciating asset.
Right.
Always leverage finances
Right.
when it comes to like houses and things like that and properties, because you can make money off that.
100%. 100%. This is a fun one. And I think I know which way you're going to go. Get rid of YouTube. Keep TikTok. Fact or cap?
Oh,
I know how much you love TikTok.
get rid of YouTube and keep TikTok. I'm gonna say fact only because
Fact.
I have
What?
I have a short attention span when it comes to watching videos.
Okay.
So, for instance, you obviously know how I eat. I don't sit down to eat.
Right.
I've been doing this so long that when I eat my food, I can eat a whole meal in like 4.5 minutes, no matter where we go.
Right.
I always hate it because I look up and you and JoJo are like a fourth the way through your chicken and rice, and I'm like,
Right.
Motherfucker's empty.
Right.
Oh, I guess I'll say this for
Is
later.
that
And I'm like, later.
y'all second bowl, right?
Like, how did y'all get two? That was an option?
Right.
But yeah, so like that 4 minutes,
Yeah.
like I can watch a couple TikToks during that.
Yeah.
But if I put on the average to get monetized, what is it? I think it's 9 minutes, 10 minutes.
I don't know.
So somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I miss the end of every video I've ever started.
Got you.
You see what I'm saying?
Got you.
And I
Yeah,
don't have a
yeah.
YouTube account, so I don't
Right.
log into YouTube. So it's not
Right.
like I can go to previous
Yeah.
watched and finished the video. It's
Right.
once I close the app, it's gone.
It's gone. Yeah.
Whereas like on TikTok, I can scroll.
Right.
I'm done eating. Well, this video's only got 4 seconds left in it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
I feel that. Yeah.
Which I don't necessarily think is a great thing because people's attention spans in general are getting shorter and shorter.
Right.
So I try not to, like when I'm riding and driving places, I try to listen to podcasts kind of like this.
Gotcha.
Because if I'm just listening to music, then my mind kind of floats away.
Yeah.
Not always a bad thing. Sometimes I enjoy riding and just listening to music.
Right. Right.
Shout out to Jesse Murphy and her new song with Jelly Roll. We listened to that the whole way here.
That was a great song. Shout out to Jelly Roll, by the way.
Bro,
Man. Super
man.
underrated, man. Underappreciated, too. And shout out to Jelly, man.
Yeah. See the shirt?
Yeah.
I got Bunny shirt on.
I think for me, it's I would have said cap on that because I feel like YouTube is it's like the new age encyclopedia. You know, it's like everything that you want to know about, see, whatever, it's all there. I think that you know, obviously we're in a day and age, like you said, everybody's attention span is short.
Yeah.
So TikTok is the easy. And here's the thing, like when you think about it, you can still go to TikTok and learn how to cook, learn how to sew, learn how to
everything we cook, everything like all of our like Halloween, Christmas decorations,
Yeah.
like instead of buying them, Lindsay it's all off TikTok.
Yeah.
So like I get the do it yourself videos on YouTube, but
Yeah.
TikTok literally just takes it from a 20-minute video
Yeah.
to a
20-second video.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they tell you everything you need to know without telling you all the extra stuff that you didn't really
Right.
care to know.
Yeah, true.
So I can see your point, but at the same
Yeah.
time,
No, I feel
I'd
you.
rather the
Yeah.
sped up version. Like, give me the cliff notes of how to do it.
Right.
I don't need to read the whole novel.
I feel that. I think I like YouTube because it's more of like it's a courting process. You're not just trying to fuck me, you know. TikTok is trying to get in my pants. But anyway.
That's true. That's true.
So let's switch gears. Financial literacy. Let's talk about something real quick. Brad, what is a credit score? What is it? People ask me all the time, hey, what does that do for me? What does that mean?
So your credit score is what banks and mortgage companies and credit card lenders basically judge you off of your ability to borrow and pay back money.
Got you.
I don't necessarily agree with credit scores. I understand why we have them, but at the same time, so for instance, 2016,
Okay.
I had a lady come in. She was in her 70s. She was like, I want to buy a car. And I'm like, sweet, let's do it. I'm like, do you know what your credit is? She was like, last time I looked, it was an 810.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know that an 810 is almost impossible to get. You can get up to a 900 on certain bureaus, but it's still like when we see an 800 credit score, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Like we do this for a living, and it's a big deal.
It is, yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, cool. We won't have any issues. We penciled the rate so the 800 credit score got back in 2016, got ready to do everything. We pull her credit. She's a 0. She hadn't used her credit in 10 years. She'd pay cash for everything. So this goes back to the whole cash thing earlier is yes and no.
Right.
So this lady that, and you could see, like I could see all her past stuff, but because it had been so long, it wasn't actually being factored into her credit score.
Yeah.
So we had to give this lady like a 15% interest rate because that's what the bank said.
Yeah.
That's not fair. That's not right.
Yeah.
I do, however, there are banks like I've talked to you about this because you needed to know it but Capital One, when you buy an auto through Capital One, they have an internal scoring system.
Yeah.
They don't like your score. It plays a factor, but not as heavy as like with certain banks. If you're this score to this score, this is your rate. If you're this score to this score, they don't care if you've got good credit history or bad credit history as long as that score's there.
Right.
Where like Capital One is super cool because you could send the same credit score with different bureaus and they'll get different rates.
Yeah.
You could send somebody with a 650 credit score and somebody with a 710 credit score.
Yeah.
And the 650 may get a better rate than the 710 just
I've seen
because
that.
of the build up and the make of the credit bureaus.
Yes. Yeah.
So I like banks like that do things like that because they don't necessarily punish you because your score is not high.
Right.
just a couple days ago, we pulled a lady's score, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, she's a 750 all day long. Why does this say 520?
Yeah.
It made no sense.
Right.
The last 10 years, she hadn't had a late payment.
Right.
She hadn't missed a payment.
Yeah.
She had low balance. Like everything that you would think would give you a 750 credit score was there.
Yeah.
Except for the number.
That's crazy.
And it's one of those that makes no sense because who do you call?
Right.
Like if you had stuff on there, I could be like,
right.
yo, you need to call these people. You need to write a letter to these people. Let's get this stuff removed. There was nothing but great things there.
Yeah.
So it's one of those, I don't necessarily agree with credit scores, but I get it because it goes back to when we're training a new salesperson.
Right.
They're like, well, I don't understand why they can't get approved. And I'm like, well, perfect.
Yeah.
Mel, you just met these people 10 minutes ago, right?
Right.
Yeah, cool. Give them 30 grand.
Yeah, no. I'm not going to do it.
That's what you're asking me to tell the bank.
Exactly.
Who cares? Give them 30 grand.
Right, yeah.
Well, what's it matter where they work? Just give them the 30 grand.
Exactly. Yeah.
What do you mean, what's it matter where they work?
Right.
Like, how long have they been there? Well, they've been there a month. So you think they're stable for 30 grand?
Right.
They've been there a month, but they want to borrow this for 75
and that's
months.
the mentality of the bank, which people they don't understand when they come in a dealership. They think it's us making these decisions.
Absolutely.
And it's the bank. What you just said is what the bank is asking us.
Right.
So we're the mediators
Right.
of, listen, I know, but just come on, and people don't understand that. So
I'd love for one of them people that thinks that the dealership is who sets the interest rates to come be a fly on the wall every Monday when I spend 2 hours making phone calls to banks to beg for them to give lower rates.
Yeah. Say that again. We beg to give them lower rates.
Beg is an understatement.
Bro, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Which remind me, we got to call one day on that deal for you. You wanted to hear me call.
Yeah, that's right.
Did I call like 4 numbers just so you could listen to me? And nobody answered at the bank. I was like, come on.
We need them banking hours where we're off on Saturday or whatever.
Bro.
It's crazy. In your opinion, Brad, how does a person balance a healthy... Or how does a person, hold on, I tried to do it without reading. Hold on 1 second. Here we go. My vision is bad. Here we go. In your opinion, how does one determine a healthy balance between spending and saving?
Well, it just depends on what your goals are. So, for instance, if your goals are, I want 10 grand in my savings account.
Yeah.
Then you're going to set aside a set of goals to be able to do that. Where the healthy part comes in is it's easy to do a budget. You take, what do I have coming in every month? Right. Not what do I make? What do I actually get? Because they take everything from you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Literally.
So how much is going to be deposited in my bank account? Perfect. So how much is my outgoing bills? Cool. How much do I need a month in food?
Yeah.
How much do I need a month in gas?
Right.
How much do I want to be able to blow? What's more important to me?
Gotcha.
Having money to blow or having a little extra go to my savings account? Right? The hard part is now that you wrote all this out, is actually doing it.
Yeah, that's the hardest part. Just like a workout regimen or something. That's the hardest part.
It's the hardest part. But if you set it up and you say, okay, I've got $500 left over after everything's paid. To be able to have 10 grand in my bank account, if I can not spend any money and take that whole $500 to get 10 grand, what is that going to take me? 20 months?
Right.
So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So can you be diligent for 20 months? You can't. Okay, so cool. No big deal. You want to blow $300 a month.
Yeah.
Whatever. New shoes, going out to eat, blah, 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 blah. So now you got 200. So we just basically cut that in half. So instead of 20 months, we're at 40 months.
Right.
So in my opinion, in the next 48 months, go find a better job.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Learn a skill that's going to pay you more money.
Right.
Find a way to make yourself more valuable to the current place you're working at so you can make more money. Because if it was going to take me 48 months to save up 10 grand.
Yeah, nah, I'm doing the wrong thing.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because people are like, you can't outwork your spending habits. The fuck I can't.
Right. Yeah. Fact over feeling. That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact. Yeah.
Like when I had the Corvette in the truck, like you
small flex.
Yeah, blew up. But that like it goes back to is I got asked, have you lost your mind? No, I just decided I was going to work harder for a little while.
Right.
And what did I do?
Yeah.
I worked harder.
Yeah, for sure.
Till I went from before I bought them, I didn't have any money issues. When I bought them, I was like, oh, this is going to cause some money issues. So let's work harder.
Right.
That way we don't have any money issues.
Right.
So that's how I feel about it. Is make your budget, look at your budget, and if you realize your budget is so far out of the realm of what's accomplishable, learn a skill.
Right.
Teach yourself something to make yourself more valuable in the workplace. Stop being average.
And I think that kind of goes into my next question. I was going to ask you, what do you think the difference between ability and affordability is? And so you kind of answered that a little bit. You know, I would assume that your ability is you only make $3,000 a month, so your affordability should only be, you know, you can only blow $200 or $300 a month because you got other expenses and stuff. So your affordability compared to your ability, I think I kind of answered my own question, but
Yeah,
you know,
no, that pretty much answers it. But then again, it goes back to is you have to remember every person has a different goal. Every person has things that they value over others.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So for instance, like when people see my gaming setup, like they're like, "You spent all this money on this," and I'm like, "Yeah, but I guarantee you that you spent just as much money on something."
Yeah.
The difference is I spent it on something I could show you.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
100%.
It's the same thing as the gym we built.
Right.
Like people come all the time, they're like, "Bro, this is literally like a real gym," and I'm like, "I know."
Yeah.
And I use it every single day.
Right.
You've blown $15,000 over the last 3 years, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for me to put
For sure.
$15,000 into a gym
Right.
that benefits me every day, that isn't going away.
Right.
Can you tell me what the last thing you put $15,000 in that didn't go away?
Right. Yeah. No.
So
The average person wouldn't be able to tell you that. Yeah.
right.
Right.
Well, I've never blown $15,000. Bro, pull up your bank statements. Let me see your DoorDash records.
Right.
Because we thought the same thing. And when I cut DoorDash off last year, do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
In 2.5 years, I'd spent $37,000 on DoorDash.
Bro, that's insane. That's insane. But and somebody watching this is going to be like, "Oh man, you're crazy." But you're saying you spent $37,000 in something else as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Is I can tell you it was DoorDash.
Right.
I don't have any of it left to show over.
Yeah.
So like when people buy expensive cars, like I get it.
Right.
The average person does it. Why does he need that? Well, if he was gonna blow $250,000,
right,
at least he's got a car sitting in the driveway.
Yeah, and at least he knows what he spent it on, because the average person, again, doesn't
can't tell you what they spent their money on.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I don't understand. I was supposed to have $200 left over, and I'm in the hole.
Right.
Well, then you aren't paying attention to where you're putting your money.
Exactly. Yeah. No. Exactly. Brad, I want to ask you this, man. So this is obviously a touchy subject to a lot of people, and I think it's a cool thing to ask. What was your opinion on the whole Black Lives Matter movement?
It's going to be touchy, and a lot of people aren't going to like my answer.
Right.
The movement itself was nothing but a money grab. And you can see that because the leaders of the quote-unquote organizations, both of them almost got arrested, or I think one of them did get arrested for embezzling the money and buying a bunch of houses and things like that. But as far as, do Black Lives Matter? I'm sitting in the house with you. Obviously, I care about you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Who comes to all my holidays?
Right. Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But it goes back to anything that they turn into a political statement.
Right.
As soon as it becomes a political statement, that's when, I've said it before, show me the problem, I'll show you the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
COVID
wasn't
causing a fight between neighbors until it was made a political statement.
Right. Yeah.
You see what I'm getting at?
Yeah. No,
is had they continued and left the government out of it? Yeah, the money being raised and actually being used for neighborhoods that needed it, it's fantastic. It's a great thing.
Right.
But when the government's still dropping off random crates of guns and drugs in the middle of alleys, dropping off bricks at the protest, like when you back a tiger into a corner, what's he gonna do?
Oh, come out.
He's gonna fight his way out.
Right.
So when you put all these people that think half the world's out to get them, they don't know when their next meal's coming because they live in poverty-stricken neighborhoods, and you back them into a corner.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Does that mean these are bad people?
No.
No.
Not at all. Yeah.
Were there bad people there?
100%.
Absolutely.
Right.
But everywhere you go,
right,
there's somebody bad. Hell, you come to our job, I can show you some bad people. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. No,
but I can also show you some great people that are still going to stay in the line.
Right.
So the movement to me, again, was a money grab.
Got you.
Had the money, and the reason being is because the money was used to buy mansions.
Yeah. Right.
You know how many people you can feed with $5 million? That was just one of the houses that was bought.
Yeah.
$5 million.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
That's a lot of food.
It is. And I think my perception of it is I think it was saturated with, essentially, like you're saying, all these people who had ulterior motives.
Absolutely.
And then they used this term that they knew was going to rile specifically black people up and rile them up against
Technically nobody,
but they had to put a face on it.
Correct.
And that's when you develop these Karens and all this other kind of stuff, and it just created this thing, and they knew that was going to happen. And then they also knew that it was going to make certain white people feel like, oh no, but I love black people.
Right.
You know, and so we're going to give to this movement as well.
Yep.
And that was a money ploy as well. So I feel like I understand where you're coming from, because it wasn't, you're not saying nobody matters. Black lives matter, white lives matter, Asian lives, Hispanic lives, everybody's life matters.
I don't care what you look like.
Exactly.
Do me right and I'll do you right.
Exactly.
Treat me wrong and you're probably going to regret it.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Right. That's the MMA and you cover that.
Yeah. Well, it also goes back to Eminem had a quote. It was something along the lines where I don't care if you're white, black, yellow, brown, straight, gay.
Yeah.
He was like, don't fuck me over.
Right.
It's as simple as that.
Simple. Yeah.
It's as simple as that. But again, it goes back to when you put somebody in a corner
Right.
and you only give them one thing to attack, that's what they're going to attack.
Right.
Whether it's right or wrong, again, it goes back to that doesn't make them a bad person.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The people that abused it and used it,
that's what it became.
That's your bad people.
Right.
And again, you go back to these riots, and it, like you said, it was these white people that didn't want to feel, oh, I'm not racist.
Yeah.
I got to go protest.
Right. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Who said you were racist?
Exactly.
Nobody, literally nobody said your name.
Right.
Nobody come to you and you were like, do you support us?
Right.
Literally nobody showed up at your front door.
Yeah.
You had the guilt inside of you already. This goes back to when I say something and it hurts your feelings, it's because the guilt hits you and you know it's true.
Yeah.
So when they said, oh, white people are racist, the actual racist liberals were like, oh, no, I swear I'm not.
Right.
I promise I'm not. Let me come do this.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
No, 100%. 100%.
Because we didn't see any backlash or anything around us, did we?
No, not at all. I even made a post on Facebook. Now, this was more so about, well, no, it was during the Black Lives Matter thing. I don't consider myself to be a very, very political person, but the older I get, I'm starting to become that way because
you're realizing that you have to know what's going on around.
Exactly.
You have to.
I have to, for my sake, for my kids' sake, and all that. But I made a post on Facebook, and it took a lot out of me to post that because it was a situation in which I didn't feel the need to have to speak out on it because at that time I didn't want people to feel like I was jumping on the bandwagon just because I am black. I go off of my experiences and what I've been through in life. And my post was basically about I've never put myself in a situation to be afraid of the police.
Right.
No matter whether you were black or white. I've only been pulled over maybe 3 times in my life, okay? And I've never once feared for my life because I wasn't in a position to where I felt like I was you know what I'm saying? Like I just didn't think about it, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so the post was basically me saying, listen, I'm aware of what's going on in the world. I do support black people, black businesses, but I also support white people and white businesses.
Right.
If anything, if we're being completely honest, no cap allowed, white people have gotten me to where I am in life, right? Obviously, my mom, she's been my moral support. She's taught me everything that I know essentially about life and being a man and how to provide and stuff like that. But, excuse me, financially, white people have gotten me where I am. And I'm not being funny when I say that. I'm just simply saying, like, you don't look at me to jump on a bandwagon that doesn't apply to me.
Right.
Now, somebody else is gonna say, well, it does apply to you because you are black. I know I'm black, but I don't wear that bad. I don't wear that boulder on my shoulders. You know what I'm saying?
And I hate that you say it like that, but that's what it is.
Right.
Is there's so many people that use it as, we'll say, a boulder on your shoulders.
Right.
Why are you putting added stuff on you?
Right.
Like, you're a human being.
Right.
You're a smart person.
Right.
You're a hardworking person.
Right.
if I close my eyes and they read off your list of success,
Right.
do you think I'd ever wonder, I wonder if he's black?
Well, if you heard my voice, you might think so.
No, Justin, stop that. But like, you get what I'm saying? Like
Right.
in nobody else's eyes
Right.
are they seeing, oh, there's a successful black guy there.
Right.
So they go,
right.
oh, that's a nice suit.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you're going to wear it as a burden,
Right.
why?
That's it.
Like when I
That's it.
stopped wearing
That's
Tourette's as a burden
That's
and
it.
I started using it as part of who I am,
Right.
my life changed.
Yeah.
You are
Yeah.
black.
Yeah.
That's not a burden.
Right.
That's who you are.
Right.
Wear it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I love that. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't get it. Because, again, it goes back to, did I grow up black? No. Did I grow up with issues that caused me to live a life that
Right.
wasn't necessarily the greatest?
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't get what it's like growing up black, but I get what it's growing up with everybody staring at you and making fun of you and pointing and laughing
Right.
and beating you up because of something you can't control.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I get it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it goes back to, like I said, when I stopped using that as a crutch, I learned to fucking run.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn. That's powerful, man. That's powerful. Brad, we're getting close to the end of the show, man. But I do want to ask you just a few more questions.
Yeah.
What is your opinion on athletes like Ja Morant, musicians like Tory Lanez, and other public figures being penalized or canceled for their detrimental actions?
I mean, I feel two different ways about it. One, because it aggravates me. It aggravates me with incoming professional sports players, and it aggravates me with younger musicians. Basically anybody that's finding success real fast.
Yeah.
Because they don't have any financial literacy. They get all this money and they don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
So, for instance, before you met all of us and became who you are,
Yeah.
you're probably a little bit more rough around the edges.
Yeah,
We
sure,
know my history.
100%.
We know I was a little bit more rough around the edges.
Yeah.
Say at 18, you walked into $20 million.
Ooh.
You see what I'm saying?
Bro.
Are you the person you am now? You are now?
Hell
You
no.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So when
yeah.
you give these kids this kind of money and you don't give them any direction to go with it,
Yeah,
there's only one thing that can happen.
right,
Bad things.
right.
Now, as far as this pains me because I want to smack him upside the head. Ja Morant
Yeah.
with his whole gun issue.
Right.
Like, I get it. You're young. You want to be cool. I don't know the full story. Maybe this wasn't your doing. Maybe you got in with the wrong crowd.
Right.
You didn't have a choice type thing.
Yeah,
But at the same time, bro, like, you're good.
Yeah.
You're not just good. You're great.
right,
You're something. You're that extraordinary that
Yeah.
some people are never gonna be.
right. Yeah.
What are you doing?
Right.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it pained me, man, because that's my two sons. They're 10 and 12. That's their athlete.
Yeah.
That's their Michael Jordan. That's their LeBron James. Whatever, right? And to the point, their very first NBA game that they ever went to was a Memphis Grizzlies game because they wanted to see Ja Morant play.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
And I'm 50-50 on the situation because I get it. Like you said, being young, having that much money, we have to remember that he had a life and a personality before he came to the league. So, he is who he is,
Yeah.
and he's been doing the best he can with not having his past in the limelight for as long as he did.
Yeah.
But the minute he slipped up, it's like boom. Now, with that being said, I do feel like the league was very, very generous the first time it
Well,
happened.
I was gonna say, what, they gave him 2 strikes, 1 strike. I know for sure
This is
happened.
the second
It
strike.
happened in the car. The video in the car.
So the club in the car.
Yeah.
So he's on his second strike, right?
Yeah.
So they were very generous on the first book because, there's a lot of athletes where they ban you for a year.
Yeah.
They whatever. They knew the
and
impact.
that's detrimental.
It is detrimental.
Like
It is.
imagine doing something every day and then not doing it for a year straight.
Exactly.
Do you think you're coming back from that?
Right.
Because at what point does your mental state bog you down so much that when it comes time to do it, you can't do it anymore?
Right. Absolutely. And I just, I support him because I feel like I empathize with him. I've been young. I've had friends that saw my success, and then I ended up going back when I know I probably shouldn't have hung out with them at the club, whatever. Something pops off, and now I have status. I have people know me like, yo, Mel, what are you doing?
And that's why I don't go places.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like I hate that because I've lost a lot of friends over the years. A lot of people that I went to war with.
Right.
But at the same time, like I can't continue growing.
Right.
To be somebody that can leave an impact on people.
Right.
If I'm going to keep putting myself in positions that one
Right.
could shine bad light on me.
Yeah.
Two, get me killed.
Absolutely.
Because I mean. You've seen some of the people I've hung around with. I've seen some of the people you've hung around with.
Right.
Like, like it is what it is.
Right.
But
right.
yeah, like I mean, I feel bad for the guy, and I hope that he figures out what it is that's going on with him, and he fixes it. Because again, he is something special. He's not someone that's just gonna disappear from the league if he doesn't want to.
Yeah. No,
But again,
absolutely.
he has to truly want that change for it to happen.
Yeah, 100%. And I think he will. I hope that he's got the understanding now of how important he is to not only just basketball, but to people in general. Because again, we're at a new age where kids look up to him a certain way. He's the face of the franchise. He's got all these endorsement deals. So like
he's not just on a basketball game.
Right.
He's everywhere. He's
everywhere.
on commercials.
Exactly.
He's on
Everywhere.
cereal boxes, things
all
like
that kind
that.
of stuff. Yeah.
Like when we were growing up, you had to actually watch basketball to know
Right.
who Michael Jordan was.
Right.
Until he started
Yeah.
doing Hanes commercials.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But like these kids, they can literally turn on their video game.
Yeah.
And Travis Scott's one of the characters on the video game.
Right. Literally.
You know what I'm saying?
Literally.
So
yeah, literally.
So it's more in their face than it is. So like it obviously Jordan and Kobe were role models,
Right.
but like
Yeah.
the amount of fandom that these guys have nowadays because of their reach is astronomical.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, Brad, before I let you go, man, no cap allowed, bro. First episode. Thank you so much for being a part of it, man. It means the world to me. What is one thing you want our viewers to take away from Bradley Yarbro and what all he's had to say today?
Yeah, absolutely. Personal excellence is the ultimate rebellion.
Say that one more time.
Personal excellence is the ultimate rebellion.
Yeah, I like that. Damn, that's gonna sit.
You want yourself out of poverty. You want yourself out of a bad relationship. You want yourself out of any situation you're in.
Yeah.
Take a look in the mirror, assess what is fucked up about you, and go fix it.
That's awesome, man. Well, look, I greatly appreciate you, bro. You like the little animations and
I
stuff
do,
like
I do.
that?
I do. I almost didn't put the headset on, but when you said there's animations, I was like, I gotta have it on.
Well, man, I appreciate everything, bro. It's been a pleasure, and I wish you continued success in your life.